Meghan Markle's creepy Prince William stalking has just been uncovered, and what it shows you is that she is still completely obsessed with the other brother. The brother who she really wanted. Okay, that brother who has the power, who has the humour, and who has the money. As according to Taz put it, Meghan Markle showing herself to be the royal family's biggest stalker. She obviously watched Prince William's interview and then filmed her own nasty version of jam and cream scones. It's just pathetic and embarrassing. She's still obsessed with the other brother. And this is because, as you know, on Friday's episode, we brought you that charming interview with Prince William where he revealed finally that the late Queen Elizabeth II had decided the conundrum when it comes to the great British tradition of how to have your scones. Cream first, jam second. Within hours, Meghan Markle had decided she was going to use that as a little stunt for her business was never. Hands posting, here we go again. Meghan is back to her stalker vibe tricks. Prince William spoke about scones 2 days ago, and now she has to create an entire post about baking warm scones topped with her as ever crap. I mean, how ridiculous is this woman? The need to copy the royals is creepy. Here's the proof. So we know what's going on. I can reveal Meghan Markle is now completely in control of her own social media output. That after the huge fallout with Netflix. Meghan follows everything despite her claims. I don't watch. I don't listen. She follows everything. She saw that and thought, oh, I'm going to jump onto that bandwagon. Now, it was a weird thing to do for Memorial Day anyway. I mean, Meghan isn't British. As the Royal News Network pointed out, in what world is clotted cream and jam a freaking Memorial Day weekend snack or breakfast in the United States? You know, the only country where Meghan Markle is currently selling as never. And to put the recipe in UK measurements is just an added layer of showing what a crazy stalker she is, doing this just 2 days after Prince William's interview talking about clotted cream and the jam debate. It's not even Memorial Day in the UK, but the spring bank holiday. This is just pathetic and shows Meghan has zero ideas for this brand. She has to copy her in-laws just to get some inspiration. Memorial Day is usually about barbecues. Perhaps Stephanie Sidley put it best in just a few words, though. Meghan Markle is stage 5 stalker. And here was the official was never scone recipe. And she does say there, following Prince William, brush the tops with heavy cream, serve with raw cream, our strawberry spread and flour sprinkles. I think I'll skip those if you don't mind, Meghan. But the problem is, this is a woman so desperate to try and save her failing business that she knows there are only 2 things that work anymore. There are only 2 things that get her attention, even amongst her dwindling band of propagandists in the mainstream media. And those 2 things are, number 1, her children, and number 2, her proximity to royalty. So after the scones, she immediately moved back onto the kids, who are simply now a prop for her business. Look at this. Inspired by the jams Meghan has created in her own kitchen and shared over the years, each spread reflects a small batch, carefully balanced approach to flavour. Bright and fruit-forward with just a hint of tartness. Ha! She's got a bit more than a hint of tartness, if you know what I mean. And a whisper of lemon. These spreads are crafted to highlight each fruit's natural essence without over-empowering it. Now, we don't care about that, do we? We don't care about that. So what got the attention? It was this. Watch.
Years after leaving the royal family, Meghan Markle is facing one of the most unusual accusations yet. Not because of a new interview, not because of another documentary, and not because of Prince Harry. Instead, critics claim Meghan's latest public move reveals something much bigger. An ongoing fixation with the future king himself, Prince William. But is there any truth behind the growing speculation? Or is this simply another royal controversy spiraling out of control? Stay with us, because this story goes much deeper than one headline. Since stepping away from royal duties in 2020, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have spent years building a new life outside the monarchy. California. Media projects. Business ventures. Public appearances. The goal was clear. Create an independent identity separate from palace life. Yet despite that effort, comparisons with the royal family never truly disappeared. And among all royal figures, One comparison continues appearing again and again. Prince William, the future king, Harry's older brother, and perhaps the single most important figure in the monarchy's next chapter.
The only way she is going to try and sell these jams, I still don't think it's going to be effective, is pimping out the children and her husband. Nancy Sidley, hey Meghan, the British called. They want you to stop hijacking their culture or apologise for causing them racist. Here's your proof that Meghan Markle knows the only things that will get her failed brand attention are Harry and the kids. That's it. And sure enough, this was immediately briefed to People magazine, the propagandists at People magazine, who somehow tried and turned that low-budget video into something cutesy pie, because she's just given Archie and Lily another new nickname. Did you pick up on that? It's Lil now. Lil and Arch. The Royal News Network responded, what the heck is this? First, Meghan Markle's audio quality is horrifically bad. And not even amateur, it's worse than that. The part about Lily is barely understandable. It's almost like Harry had the microphone, right? It's also so fake with her standing in the fake kitchen with a pristine white apron, which reinforces the idea that she doesn't cook nor cares about her products. And the stupidity of continuing to believe that claiming her hostages or family can help sell these spreads by sharing their favourites is cringe to the extreme. For Pete's sake, she needs to show that her products are useful for something beyond a scone and fingerprint cookies if she wants this crap to sell. You've got to give it to her. She is trying, but she's so out of her depth, it's as painful as listening to that tinny audio. Seriously, this woman is supposed to be a producer and can't even get the audio right for a short Instagram video, which is both overproduced and somehow underproduced at the same time. It boggles the mind. She is well and truly running all of this, and it really shows. And Tom Sykes of The Royalist lambasted the Duchess, saying she is now openly using her family to flog jam, arguing that Meghan's team have sometimes spoken about her children, or say that she's spoken about her children or husband when promoting products under her brand as ever, which is described as being inspired by Meghan's long-lasting love of cooking, entertaining, and hostessing with ease. However, a new holiday post represents the first time Meghan has invoked her royal husband and kids herself in an openly as ever branded affair. Needless to say, it wasn't filmed in her own slightly grotty kitchen. Since stepping back from royal life, Meghan and Harry have repeatedly said they want to keep their children out of the spotlight, yet while the children's faces remain carefully shielded in photos, their family life is increasingly drifting into public view as it becomes woven into product promotion. And we know that's because she has no other choice. Nothing else is working, from the Mama's Little Helper video to the Disney pictures. Meghan Markle only has one thing that anyone cares about: her children and her husband. And unfortunately, what this does is completely torpedo her and Prince Harry's bid to try and claim some type of political win with their bid to crack down on social media. Let me bring in our royal mastermind now, Prince Harry's biographer, Angela Levin. Angela, great to have you here. Can we kick off, please, with the scones, Angela? Because this was just stalking Prince William. The timing wasn't coincidence, was it?
No, I mean, actually, it makes me feel sick to see that much honey going on the top. You don't have honey on it. And it looks
what's
like
that about? The Queen certainly
toast.
wouldn't have approved of that, Angela.
No, it's completely makes you feel. Ugh. Well, how I felt about it was that she set up her TIG, which is this diary she had, in 2014. And a year or so later, she arrived with a portrait of rather old-fashioned cups and plate and various things on it. And I think that was her saying, I'm going to see the Queen. And indeed it was. She went off with having done this. She never said a word, and she was incredibly proud of it. And I think she's gone back to that, and she's done it with her very good friend, Prince William. And I think she hopes, or hoped, that he would see this. He would know how keen she is to please him, and he would invite her for tea. But actually, she couldn't do it. She couldn't do it. It just looked absolutely repulsive. And that he wouldn't do it anyway because he can't stand her. But that was her idea. And I think that's how her mind was working. And I bet you it's going to be more like this because she hasn't got lots more people to look after her. She's got to do these things herself. So she's going to try and find something, design it with cups, sauces, anything she wants. And then she's had something to say. You know, lots of the royal have jewellery that tells them something. Meghan hasn't got that to show that. She'll do it with pictures.
But the thing is, Angela, there's nothing British about this woman. There's nothing royal about this woman. When she was actually here, she hated all of these connections to royal life. She wasn't going to eat jam and scones, which, by the way, is my favourite thing, I have to be honest. But she wasn't doing
with raisins?
that. So there's
with
nothing...
raisins?
Oh, I love them with raisins. Yeah, I do.
Okay, just checking.
I love them with
Should
raisins.
I ever make them?
Yes, please. I like lots of raisins and probably an unhealthy amount of clotted cream and jam. By the way, Angela, I'm all for the strawberry jam, just being honest, and I would never have that. Was never rubbish, trust me.
Right.
I'm big on scones. But that's the thing. There's nothing authentic about what she's trying to do with this product now, Angela, because she hated her time in the United States. I mean, I would have more respect if she was making some type of revolting, I don't know, what do they eat in Los Angeles? You know, quinoa dish, you know, with lemongrass or something like that. But it's this desperate attempt to cling on to English traditions, which really does start to infuriate me.
Well, it's very interesting because she now wants to be her full name used, and she wants the children to have their names, Princess, Prince. So she's desperately coming back for that. She must have realised that she's done a terrible mistake. What she didn't want to walk behind Catherine because Catherine is higher up on the hierarchy, and she didn't like that. So many times she would try and push forward and get ahead first, and Harry had to pull her back because she couldn't do that. And I also saw the A's pulling her back. She didn't want to do that. And one time I told you about Harry going back to his mother and saying that you really ought to use Meghan because she's sort of made so much of herself that she would make a much better person at that level than Catherine, because Catherine just came from university. It's really, she's nothing to look like her or anything. And of course, the Queen didn't do that because the hierarchy is very, very important. But it was an incredibly rude thing Harry to do. And she probably pushed him for it. And all the time, she's either looking at William or she's looking at Catherine. She just wants to. She doesn't know what to do. She hadn't learnt how to live within the royal family, which does take time. I'm not saying that. But she wouldn't actually accept anything. She didn't want to be anything but the person in front. And she can't be. And that's made her to still try and find silly things that will make her look as if she's, number one. But she can't do it. I mean, Catherine took her very nicely to Wimbledon, which is what that photo is saying. She tried to make a nice conference for saying nice things and all that. And Meghan got all sort of, she doesn't know what to do. She can't work with somebody who is more sensible and honourable than she is. She comes from a very different family, and what she should have done would have said, I come from a very different family, please help me. But she wouldn't. I know everybody tried to help her, but she was too grand for it. She didn't want to know. Like they said, whenever somebody tried to help her, she wouldn't let them help her. Harry doesn't like to do that either. Well, it's a big mistake, and that's made them both fall, and that's their problem.
Angela, what do you make of the fact that Meghan is now attempting to drop another little nugget in regards to the two children while actually blatantly using them to ship product now? So this is the latest nickname. It's just Arch and Lil now. So we've gone from Princess, Lilibet Diana to Lilibet, and I know lots of people, and I've gone with this, don't even like us using that because, of course, it was the late Queen's nickname. So we don't want to use that. So we use Lily. Now she's just saying Lil, and with Archie, it's just Arch, and then obviously with Harry, it's H. But it feels like the drop of these nicknames, Angela, was very strategic because moments after the video was released, People magazine are running with this headline. Oh, it's so cute. It's so cute. Now, if People magazine had any credibility, which they don't anymore, unfortunately, Angela, when it comes to their royal coverage, because they've gone in so hard with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. But if they had any credibility, I don't think they would say this was cute, would they? Because for me, there was nothing cute about, like, what's cute about using your children to ship jam products? Like, to me, that's not cute. Okay, it's sickening. It's crafty. It's oddly strategic, but it's not cute.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Well, I think she did that. Well, she said one of the things of one of the jams, each different person in the family said it. And I thought she'd just done that so that people will buy all the types, not just one. It wasn't that saying, oh, they all like the same one. She would like them to buy 4 different jars, and that would make her happy. But I think this thing using Lil and Arch is extraordinary because she's wanted, Prince, Princess. She wants the full name. She wanted them to be as near close as possible. But I thought she's obviously stepped back so that she would actually look humble and nice, and were trying to show that, their kids are like any kids, but they're not. And suddenly they'll then come back whoosh with the Mark saying they're king, Mark saying they're prince and princess. That's the only reason I can think. It's a horrible name, actually, Lil. It looks like someone who's come to do your washing up. It's very unpleasant. But I think it's just trying to make her feel that on one side, she's a very ordinary person and they're very ordinary children. But she doesn't want that at all.
The latest controversy began after Meghan's recent public appearance generated widespread media attention. Supporters praised the event. They highlighted the publicity, the media coverage, the branding opportunities, and the continued visibility Meghan enjoys years after leaving royal life. But critics quickly interpreted the situation differently. According to several royal commentators, elements of the appearance seemed strangely familiar. The messaging, the imagery, the public presentation. Some argued the approach closely resembled techniques frequently associated with senior working royals, particularly Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales. And from there, a much larger narrative began taking shape. Soon, social media discussions exploded. Commentators started asking provocative questions. Why does Meghan continue appearing in stories connected to royal themes? Why do comparisons to William keep resurfacing? And why does every major Sussex appearance eventually become measured against the future king and queen? For critics, the answer seemed obvious. They argued Meghan remains deeply invested in competing with the institution she left behind. Not physically inside it, but psychologically connected to it. Supporters dismissed those claims immediately, calling them unfair, exaggerated, and driven more by media obsession than reality. Yet the debate refused to disappear, because what happened next transformed a routine publicity story into something far more controversial. Instead of discussing Meghan's actual project, public conversation shifted almost entirely toward Prince William. Articles compared influence. Commentators compared popularity. Audiences compared public perception. And suddenly, Meghan's appearance wasn't being judged on its own merits. It was being viewed through the lens of a rivalry many believe exists, and others insist has been largely invented by the media. Either way, one reality became impossible to ignore. William remained at the center of the conversation, even though he wasn't directly involved. That's what makes this story so fascinating, because it's really about perception. Not facts. Not evidence. Perception. For years, Meghan has attempted to establish an identity independent of royal structures. But public attention consistently pulls her back toward royal comparisons. Especially comparisons involving William and Catherine. And that's because William represents something Meghan can never fully separate herself from. The path not taken. The future of the monarchy she once joined. The institution she ultimately left behind. Every success William achieves. Every milestone Catherine reaches. Every royal event. Every international tour. Inevitably creates new comparisons. And those comparisons often fuel fresh controversy. Meanwhile, Prince William's position inside the monarchy continues strengthening. As heir to the throne, his responsibilities are expanding. Public expectations are increasing. And his role in shaping the monarchy's future becomes more important every year. For Meghan, the challenge is entirely different. Building relevance outside the institution. Maintaining public interest. Creating an identity that stands independently of royal connections. And that's not an easy balance to maintain. Because audiences remain fascinated by the royal link. Even years later. Which means every new project risks being interpreted through a royal lens. Whether intended or not. The irony is that Meghan's critics and supporters may actually agree on one thing. Prince William continues influencing the conversation. Not because he's participating, but because his presence remains unavoidable in the broader royal narrative. And as long as that remains true, comparisons will continue. Speculation will continue. And controversies like this one will continue generating headlines. And the real question now is Meghan Markle genuinely trying to compete with Prince William's influence? Or has the media simply become incapable of discussing one royal without mentioning the other? At its core, this isn't really about obsession. It's about association. The enduring connection between former royals and the institution they left behind. Because no matter how independent Meghan's future becomes, one reality remains impossible to escape. The royal story still follows her. And as long as Prince William represents the future of that story, comparisons will never be far behind. If you enjoy royal news, palace drama, and behind-the-scenes analysis of the biggest royal controversies, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Because the next chapter in the royal saga could be even more dramatic than the last.